Hi, I'm Colleen Kelly, and this is Round Trip with Colleen Kelly, your go to podcast for unforgettable travel stories, top tips, and all the adventures you've been waiting for. Today, we've got Johnny Jett, the original travel influencer, according to Forbes, one of my friends in the travel industries. And I'm so excited to have him on. He's full of information, full of great stories, and lots of travel tips. So I hope you'll join us. It's going to be a great episode. All right, everybody. So, as you can see, you get a visual of all of us, and you get to meet one of my travel friends in the industry, Johnny Jett. He is here. He was on our show when it was a Chicago radio show. Now we actually get to see you in your studio, and Johnny, I'm so excited. Like you were just the most amazing person. And one of the first people that I've ever met in the industry. And so thanks for being on the show. People are going to love talking to you. You have so much to talk
Aren't
about.
aren't you kind? Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
Well, you paid me $50 to say that. You remember that?
It
Yeah.
was 150.
I mean, it's 150. That's right. That's it. Do you see why I like this guy? So Johnny, let's start with some people may have not heard your episode that we had with Round Trip when it was a Chicago radio show. Could you tell everybody a little bit about you? And then what I would love to know is how you became a travel expert, because I think it's a fascinating story. I know that's a lot,
Sure. How much
but if we
time
can
you
start
got?
with that. Oh, we got several hours. No, we got 20 minutes, but yeah.
Okay. So it's a long story, but I'll try and give you an abbreviated one. But I grew up in Connecticut, was always fascinated with travel, especially flying. I didn't fly very much. I have three siblings, so it's my parents had a family of six, and back then it cost a lot to fly. And I just can't imagine wrangling four kids on a plane. I wrangled two, and you know, it's not that easy. But for four, and again, it was much more expensive back then. So we did a lot of driving. But I remember my first time getting on a plane, I was like, my God, this thing's amazing. I can go from freezing cold Connecticut to hot and sunny Florida in 2.5 hours. I was hooked. And then, but then I became afraid to fly when I was in high school. And I only flew a handful of times. But in high school, I was diagnosed with asthma. My asthma doctor gave me too much medication, which I didn't realize at the time. But I talked my mom into going on our first international trip. We were going to go to Australia. It was a dream trip for my senior year of high school. We were going to go New York, San Francisco, spend a night, Hawaii for a couple nights, Sydney for a few nights, Perth, Australia, where my sisters were living at the time, back to Sydney, then Fiji, then LA, and then back home.
Gosh.
And anyway, I talked my mom into this dream trip. I mean, this is when Crocodile Dundee was out. I was putting pictures of Paul Hogan on her bed and all this stuff. Anyway,
The
we
Barbie.
get to the
Yeah.
yeah, we get to the airport, and all of a sudden, actually back up. We went to the doctor like 2 days before for a checkup, and the doctor's like, "You're going to Australia? That's a 27-hour flight. You might have a difficult time breathing on the plane." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "Planes are pressurized." And I'm like, I don't know what that means." And anyway, we get to the airport. I have a full-on anxiety attack. We're about to get on the plane, and I go, "I can't get on the plane." And my parents both laughed. They thought I was joking, and then they realized I wasn't when I started crying. And it's still one of the worst days of my life. And when my parents realized I wasn't joking, my mom's crying. She doesn't know what's going on. My dad's crying because he thought he had the house to himself for 2 weeks. And anyway, they were great. I mean, for my spring break, every day they're like, "You want to at least try to go to San Francisco or Hawaii?" I'm like, "No, I'm not getting on a plane." Anyway, I was afraid to fly for almost 3 years.
Wait,
And
did you get on the plane?
nope, did not.
Oh, did
Yep.
they get on the plane? Or your
No, it
mother?
was just nope. And she never made it to
Wow.
Australia.
So you
Yeah.
canceled everything.
Yep. It's one of my biggest regrets because my mom she passed away. She never got to go to Australia. Um, but anyway, for 3 years, I was not only afraid to get on a plane, I was afraid to leave the house at times. I had full on anxiety. So my parents took me to shrinks. They took me to all kinds of doctors. And this one homeopathic doctor's like, "The problem is you're on too much medication. It's giving you anxiety." So anyway, he weaned me off of it, or at least the majority of it. And I was able to fly again. And what changed my life was one of my friends' mother called me up when I was 20 years old and said, "Hey, my good buddy was in alcohol rehab, And because I know you don't drink, I've never been drunk in my life. I want you to come to Arizona and take my other son's ticket, who just backed out that morning, and the flight was in 3 hours. And I was like, I can't. She goes, I know you're afraid to fly, but just give it a shot. And I go, I don't know. But anyway, my sister gave me a horoscope calendar for Christmas. And I said, every day you turn a page. And I said, listen, I'm going to turn the page. If it says something good, I'll give it a shot. And sure enough, it said, you're going to travel
Oh.
somewhere exotic today.
So you had to go.
I was like, I'm going to give it a shot. This is 6 o'clock in the morning. My friend's
Hey,
mother called my mother, and my mother woke me up. And
okay.
anyway, I didn't have time to think about it, and we just boogied to the airport. Back then, you could fly under other people's names, and
Oh,
I flew to Arizona under my
you
buddy's
could?
brother's name. Yeah,
Okay.
this is late '80s
Okay.
or early '90s. And anyway, I get over my fear of flying on that trip. I get to Arizona, and it was great to see my
Sunny.
buddy, but it was starting to get intense. And my great aunt died in LA. And my dad said, since you're already there, why don't you meet me in the airport and I'll fly out and just meet me in LAX. So I flew by myself, my first trip ever on a plane by myself. And man, it was life changing. And I was like, I want to live in California. And
Really?
I ended up going to school in California. 6 months later, I was enrolled in school, and I met a girl whose parents lived all over the world, and she only flew business class. I never knew what it was like on the other side of that curtain. She invited me to
Oh,
Singapore. She invited me to Singapore the first year. I gave her some lame excuse why I couldn't go, but it was really fear. I was afraid I wouldn't be able to breathe on the long flight. I was afraid I wouldn't be able to breathe in Singapore. Then the next year, she invited me to Hong Kong, and I was like, you know what? I got to try it. And I was like, I'm not going to sit in the back of the bus. So I talked my dad into buying me a business class ticket after I did a lot of research, and I found a business class ticket that was almost cheaper than coach. It was $300 more.
to Hong
And
Kong? Oh my
yes,
god.
so
Okay. Wow,
anyway,
yes.
and that's a whole story too, because my ticket almost didn't make it because I bought it from a consolidator. But I made it, and let me tell you, if you want to have your first trans-Pacific flight, you want to do it in business class. And I was like, it turned out to be 16 and a half hours because we were delayed for 2 hours on the plane.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I was like, this is better than being at home, man. People are giving me sorbet to clean my palate in between meals, and I just loved it. And I fell in love with Hong Kong. I was there for a month. I traveled to Macau by myself. And anyway, when I got back,
Well,
I had so many freaking flyer miles from signing up to United. It was my first time really on United Airlines, and I was like, "This is a racket." So I just started, uh, flying United. Then I don't fly United now, but I might go back to them.
I'm an
But
American girl.
yeah, I am right now because they have the best program I think for freaking flyer
Yeah.
miles.
But so
But anyway,
so you racked up all these, so you went from a person who couldn't get on a plane to go to Australia
yeah,
to all of a sudden now you're in Hong Kong. And then that
yeah,
just was it just like a love of travel and you just said, "This is what I wanna do," or like, how did it lead to where
everything.
you are now?
Definitely, and then I went to school in California, and, I grew up in Connecticut, so I would go my mom got diagnosed with cancer, so I was going every other week to see her, every other weekend after I graduated college, and I was sick and tired of asking my boss if I could take time off, so I started Johnny Jet. But, I would go for 3 years, I went every other weekend to New York, and I learned so many tricks. I would buy the absolute cheapest ticket. I would sometimes fly $153 a round trip, and I would sit in business or first class because I knew all the gate agents and flight attendants, and they would upgrade me. And I sat next to almost every celebrity because New York, LA, you always see celebrities,
Right,
and
but
they would treat me better than the celebrities, and I was like, "Whoa, this is getting a little crazy."
you might have been nicer.
I was
Uh,
nice, but
yeah,
some of these
that
guys,
goes a long
they
way.
were mostly fine, but I was always really nice, and I would take the last flight coming back from New York. So it was all young flight attendants. I'd bring them Johnny Jet T-shirts,
M&Ms,
chocolate, definitely
I
chocolates,
heard
and
you're known for that,
not M&Ms, but I am known for
or something
chocolates.
like that, chocolates.
Yes,
But
but
you did this to see your mother while she had cancer?
yeah, yeah, for sure,
I mean,
and
I saw some pictures with you with your mother, and you took her on a couple trips, right? Towards
definitely.
fam
My mom was the most unselfish person. She never traveled when we were young. She said she didn't want to leave her family. and she had all these opportunities. And when she was diagnosed with cancer, I was like, listen, you're going to see the places that you always wanted to, like where your father was born in Denmark, in Paris, where she won a scholarship. I can't even talk about it because I start crying.
No, it's okay, I understand, I understand, I
And,
have a mother.
and then
No,
anyway,
but
so
you did it,
anyway,
Johnny.
I
Like,
did,
look at
I
what
did,
you
yeah,
did. Look at what you did. That's really impressive. Like, and I know we're all gonna talk about tips, but right now it's about you took her on these trips that that she needed to see, and you just made her life beautiful. I'm sure of it.
I'm so
And because I
fortunate.
saw a picture of the 2 of you, and, of course, you did put her in first class.
Definitely. I cashed in all my miles. We flew first class, and she was like, "This is amazing," and I was just so thankful, and I
Yeah.
still am. Yeah, those were the best trips of my life because I got to share it with my mom, and then the next summer I took her to other places that she always wanted to go. And I listen. I wish she was still alive because she would have seen the world. She would have literally seen the whole world. And I took my dad to Australia. I took my dad to all these places. He passed away 2 years ago, but I took him to 20 something countries, and I definitely would have taken my mom to even more. I mean, I love my dad. He is amazing, but my mom was my mom.
Yeah, yeah, moms are moms, right? They're the ones that take care of us in the
Yeah.
beginning, but what a gift you gave both of them, really, and
Yeah.
I did see, the if you go to Johnny Jet's social media, your dad's there, and he's I don't know if he was toasting or something.
Oh, yeah.
Just
My
looks
dad
like
was a real character. I mean, that guy would talk to anybody.
oh, that's like
And,
my father.
I'm talking, listen, one time I was taking him to Fiji, and we're on the plane, and these three girls walk by, and I'm like, Dad, don't even think about it. He's like, they need to have your business card. They need to know about Johnny Jet. And I go, don't do it. I mean, I couldn't stop him. The guy gets up, and the next thing you know, all the girls are talking. I
Oh,
mean,
they
I
probably
mean,
loved your father, like, they're like,
oh
"Yeah,
my
we'll take
God,
Johnny Jet's business card, but your
they
dad's
loved
cool."
him. Definitely, everyone loved him.
What a great gift.
Yes, I was very fortunate to have those
Yeah.
as my parents. I
I
mean,
think
not
that's a
everyone's.
great life lesson for all of us, like anybody who's listening or watching now. That really, like, life is so short, and if you have this opportunity to just take somebody on a trip, right now, and I know we're going to get to tips, everybody, at some point, but this is so special to me. Um, my mother's 84, my father's 83, and, we're going to Monaco, and we're gonna meet Prince
Nice.
Albert. That's a whole story, because
Wow.
he's like yeah, Princess Grace is a relative of ours back back down the line. But, uh, it's not easy. We've gotta get a wheelchair, and she's mentally, everything's great, but it's a little harder physically, and when we're like, "You know what? We're doing this. We're making this happen." She's 84. So it's gonna be very special for us just like it was for you, and then eventually, that you'll have those memories, I guess,
Yeah.
right?
So my
It's
tip
the
for
hardest
you
part.
when traveling with older people, make sure you do these packing lists in advance and double check. Like my dad was living on the East Coast. I live in the West Coast, and I used to have him meet me in Europe. I would cash in my miles and have someone drop him off the airport, and we'd get there. One time we landed in Barcelona. I landed in Barcelona, and he's at my hotel, and I go, "We're getting on a cruise." And I go, "Where's your hearing aid?" He goes, "I forgot the batteries." And these are like special batteries you just can't buy
Yeah.
anywhere. And I go, "Where's your medication?" He forgot his medication. I go, We're getting on a cruise tomorrow." Anyway,
Oh,
so we take photos of all the medication. Fortunately, I had photographs of all the prescriptions on the bottles. And we went to this little pharmacy in Sete, France. Like, I was like, no one's going to speak English. Anyway, the pharmacist not only spoke English, she had all the drugs, and they were cheaper than they were here.
okay, let's talk
So
about this. This is a great tip that you're just bringing up right now because I do travel with older parents as well. So say that again. Take a picture of all their medications.
all their medications, all the names, the prescriptions, and that way, God forbid they run out. You should always carry more drugs, not
Mhm.
drugs, prescriptions
Yeah.
than you need because there could be a volcano, you could be stuck somewhere. So don't just have the same amount for the how long your trip is. Have for at least a week or two more,
I would
just
say
in
2
case.
weeks, 3
Yeah,
weeks.
that's a good. You never know. I
You
mean,
don't know, and, I went over there and like you just said, there's a small little town, there's maybe like 1 or 2 doctors, and you gotta get into them. I totally agree, it should be like, I would say 3 times the amount that you need, and if you talk to any of your doctors, they understand that you're gonna go to an international country. I
yeah.
also bring antibiotics
Definitely, I
because
do too. I have a mini
yeah.
pharmacy when I travel.
I do too.
I
No,
do,
'cause
I do.
I do also, I have Imodium,
I have
the
that all.
basic stuff. Yeah. And you know what? You
I
don't
have
use
eye
it when you
drops,
bring
nose spray. I have, um, you name it. I carry it.
but that's a really good point for older people. Take a picture of all the prescriptions. I actually did not know that, so thank you for that tip. That's huge. And make sure they've got triple, and also they've got extra batteries for their
Extra batteries and extra glasses.
extra
Reading glasses.
glasses. Okay. So let's talk about, since we're on tips, let's talk about some tips because you obviously have traveled to how many countries, Johnny? I've lost track.
Over 70.
70.
At
What
least
are some at least 70. I'm like, you probably lost track. I've
I've been to
lost
at
track.
least 70 with my wife, so and I've been to way more than my wife. And also
Wow.
my kids who are young, I have a 6 one just turned 6 and one just turned 9. They've been to over 20 countries.
Isn't that amazing? I used to make my kids so they were 5 and 7. Well, I didn't make them. They wanted to. They would carry their own luggage, like the carry-on up.
They've only done it once, but they're about to start because
Oh,
we've
no,
been we've been
this is a great age to do it because
yeah,
literally, like, they feel empowered and they can do it, and you're like, "Oh my
yeah.
god, they can pull this thing." I think they like feeling like a little adult.
They're
But
going to because I do not like checking bags.
oh, yes. Well, I still check bags, but I hear you. Uh, but tell us, okay, since we're on the tip subject, if that's okay with you, what are
Please.
some tips about traveling that maybe some general tips for people, just about to take maybe international travel or, also traveling with your family? Because my kids are now 23 and 20. So,
Wow.
you traveling with little kids is a whole other thing.
Well, you started having kids early, I started having kids late.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but, for any international trip or any trip, create a packing list and start weeks in advance. Know what you have. I start laying out our stuff, a week before the trip. My wife does it like a month before, and that way, and she's very meticulous. She goes right through the list. But for little kids, my best travel tip is, if they're over 2 years old, maybe three, if they're allowed to have screen time, you can't have kids have screen time after before two. But my kids are, 5 and or 6 and 9. So when we get on a plane, they're only allowed to use their iPad when they're on the plane or when we travel. They can't use an iPad at home. So when we get on the plane, they're like, "What?" People see us walking down the aisle, they're like, "Oh god, we got kids." Anyway, these guys, you don't hear a peep out of these guys. I have to like drag them to the bathroom, saying, "It's time to go to the bathroom." It's been 3 hours, and they're like, "I don't need to go. I'm watching this show or playing this game." Because it's such a treat for them. And when we land, the passengers around us like, wow, man, these kids are better behaved than any adult. And the trick
Mm.
is the iPad. Don't let them use an iPad at home. Only when you travel.
It's kind of like a little reward.
Definitely, and they love it. Also, we always bring chocolates for the flight attendants. So and the pilots and then the gate agents. So I always have bags of like Hershey
You
Kisses or
bring it for
something.
everybody?
Well, we usually bring 2 or 3 bags, and my kids fight who can bring it, so now I give them each a bag, and,
Wow, I gotta level up my game. I think I just bring it for the flight attendants. I always forget
uh,
about the pilots. I mean,
the
I'm
the
really
the
nice to the
the
gate
gate
agents. I
agents
don't bring them chocolates.
no, the gate agents are, they can make or break your trip.
Oh, yeah.
So, but the problem with the gate agents is that they change so often, so it's hard to establish a relationship. If you're at a small airport, it's really easy.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but I'm at LAX. But anyway, we don't do it to get anything because we're not getting upgraded or anything like that. We're just being it to be nice because I dated a flight attendant. I know how rough passengers are. And if you ever get on a plane, just watch how passengers react to flight attendants.
Yeah.
Flight attendants will say, welcome aboard. People won't even acknowledge them. They just
Okay,
walk
wait.
right by.
Yes, can we and I'm sorry, we should probably get into more tips, but I totally agree with you. I think this is an important subject. Gate agents are not respected by a lot of people. They treat them terrible, and then when you get on board, I always say good morning to, like, the flight attendants that are and people don't even respond. People just keep walking. I don't
I
get that.
watch next time. Watch like
I
especially
do.
when I get upgraded. I usually sit in the very first row on the aisle, and I have a clear view. And it amazes me. Flight attendants, all they really want you is to be kind, be genuinely
Nice.
nice.
Yeah, yeah,
You
and
don't need to bring them. You don't need to bring them gifts, but it
right.
helps. But just be nice, and they will
Just be
treat
friendly.
you like a rock star.
Yeah, I totally agree. It just really bothers me when I get on a plane and I see people just literally, like, they're like, good morning," and they just keep walking, and they don't
Yeah,
even say good morning back. I mean, that's all you have to do. You like you said, not chocolates, just say something like that. And
definitely.
it's frustrating to me. It's also frustrating that people don't treat, so okay. I've worked on the service side. I've been a bartender, I've been a waitress. I think that's really part of it is that once you've worked on the service side, you understand what it's like.
Right.
People should not treat anyone like they treat some of these gate agents
Oh,
or these flight
or
attendants.
or or
Their
waiters.
job is so hard, so hard.
Especially the waiters. I remember I went on a date with a girl once, and she treated the waiter poorly. I was like, "This is our first and only date. It's over. It's a deal
Oh,
breaker for."
good. Yeah, good for you.
Yeah.
She yeah.
I only want kind people in my life.
Yeah, I think that's a really maybe we're just talking about right now, not just like travel tips, but really about something that's really important. And it's about human connection and treating people kind. And it seems to be something that's not really done that often when I
Right.
travel. There are so many good people though, but there's so
Agreed.
many that just don't treat them well. And
Yeah.
that's number one with
Well, my
traveling,
number
right?
my my number one travel tip and life tip is to be genuinely kind to everybody.
Yes,
A
always.
and, no matter who you're speaking to, reservation agents, the garbage man, well, whoever,
Yeah.
always be kind.
Yeah, I get on the phone with American Airlines rep because I mean, I'm sure you do too, because we have to switch our flights, and I'm like I start having my husband's like, "You have conversations with them," and like, "Oh,
My
you're
wife
from Georgia?" You know,
yeah,
we
it's the same thing
we,
with
like,
me
have
too.
all things, and it's but really, if you're kind to a person and I've talked to so many agents, I actually know them personally, like you do, they're like, "Why would I help somebody that's gonna yell at me?" It's I mean, they have to help them, but they're not
They're not
somebody
gonna go
who's
the extra
kind
mile.
is exactly. You wanna help
Exactly.
people that are kind to you. So
You're
that
right,
is
you're right.
actually probably our number one tip for today is to be kind to everybody and please don't yell at people. That's not good. Okay, so let's talk about some other things. First of all, I wanna know what's going on with you. What are you working on lately, besides traveling the entire world with your kids and family and yourself?
Yeah, I mean, we do travel a lot, but now we're pretty much regulated. We have to do it during vacation days like Thanksgiving, Easter, Christmas, summer. We traveled every summer, every week this summer. We traveled,
Okay, so
which was
you've been everywhere,
well,
and
not
you've got
everybody. We were in Europe. We went to Nantucket. We went to Chicago. We went to Toronto, um, San
wow.
Diego. Yeah.
So you have lots of travel tips for people, and I know that you've got a limited amount of time. So where can people find out
I can go for another 5 minutes.
you can?
Yeah, definitely for
Oh,
you. For,
okay, because our producer's saying, "Don't take up too much time."
yeah, no, no, I appreciate it, but I haven't heard our garbage man come by yet.
Okay.
It's an
He's
inside
waiting for
joke.
his garbage man, everybody, so that he takes the mattress.
Yes.
These are our listeners are,
Yes, yeah.
loving the kind of personal thing. Takes the mattress to the garbage with the garbage. Yeah, and I had somebody the other day, everybody, that was mowing their lawn right outside of this this little studio in my house, so that was interesting. But anyway, but so what are some, last minute, tips you have for people or advice?
Well, listen,
Uh
if you can avoid checking bags, don't do it because that will save you so much time and headache. Almost every single business traveler doesn't check a bag, and that's because they can roll up to the airport last minute. They can get off the plane. They don't have to wait around, which seems like an eternity. They don't have to worry about their luggage making it or getting stolen, and they can also change flights if there's a delay or if they're change of plans. So it makes it so much easier. With little kids, we have not. We've been checking bags. We're like, I basically pull up to the airport in a U-Haul truck, and we have so
I've
many
had
bags.
kids.
But
There's no
what's nice
choice.
is I have these big roller bags now. I put each kid on top of them. I hold their shirts and the handle so they can't fall, and we cruise to the airport.
Oh, that's brilliant. They sit on
So,
top of the roller bags?
yeah, and I hold
Oh,
on to
that's
their shirt
great.
and the handle because I can't trust them from falling over. So,
Well, it's up to them to hold on to something too.
well, it's not the safest thing, but
Okay. But it
but
works.
they love it. I mean, they're like, although they're getting too big now.
Yeah, I
But
think as kids, they're like, "This is fun, this is
yeah,
great," and,
yeah.
they can't fall too far, so they're probably fine.
Unfortunately, soon they're gonna be pulling me, on the bag, so
Maybe. Yeah, it amazes me that you still travel with your little kids, but little kids can, they can adjust and they can learn to be travelers, and it's pretty fascinating to watch that,
not what these guys are great little travelers. I mean, they've been to Sydney, they've been to Fiji, they've been to Greece, Turkey. I mean, they've been to,
insane.
again, 20 Bermuda, Barbados. They've been to 20-something countries, but they've been around, and I've yet to take them to Asia, and that's what I'm hoping to take them to.
Maybe they can write a
Next.
travel expert book for kids. Could be a
Well,
thing.
actually, my son started writing a little travel blog
Oh, we'll
on
see.
yeah, so,
Traveling with your parents. This is how you get through it.
yeah, I mean,
Uh, yeah, no, it's just Johnny, like, I just honestly, I'm fascinated by you. I would like to learn some
thank
tips
you.
from you myself, personally, but the fact that you're taking your kids everywhere all over the world and your wife, and it's just it's awesome. You're
Well,
incredible.
I have one pro tip. So,
Oh,
this is more of an expert tip, which is you're an expert traveler. So the other ones I
mm,
gave you are pretty basic, and I'm about to write it for today's newsletter. So, by the way, please sign up to my
oh,
newsletter. It's free, johnnyjet.com. One T. I'm not related to Joan, and
say that again, Johnny, for 'cause, your newsletter is invaluable.
oh, it's johnnyjet.com. JOHNNYJET.com. If you Google Johnny Jet newsletter, it'll show up. You can sign up to the daily travel tip or just the weekly tip.
Awesome, and
And
you're gonna give us a little tip that hasn't been released yet until
no, yeah,
today? Okay, what
yeah.
is that?
So the pro tip is, if you ever go to a big conference hotel, which, I was just in Vegas for Virtuoso, and this is where I really learned it because they have these. I was staying at the Aria Hotel, which I'm sure you stayed there before.
Mhm,
I've probably seen you there before.
yeah.
They have different elevator banks. So I think it's floors 8 to 15, and then 16 to 24, and then 25 to 35, or whatever. So my tip is, especially when there's conferences or large groups, is to always get the first floor of those elevator banks. So I was staying on the eighth floor because the bank went from 8 to 15. Anyway, you get in the elevator, you're the first one off the elevator. Every floor is being prepped. So it takes an extra few minutes just to get to the 14th floor, whatever floor you're going to. And then when you're going down, you're the last stop. So you don't have to wait. It's a nonstop trip.
Oh, that's brilliant. I never thought
Thank
of that,
you.
and there's so many people too. You've gotta get loaded up with all the people.
Exactly. So
That's
that's where I thought of
awesome.
that. Although on the flip side, if being at the top floor makes sure that it guarantees you that you will be on the elevator because when you're on the last stop going down, it could be full.
Yes, okay, oh gosh, then you can't get on. That and
Yeah,
then when you've got your luggage and it's full, then you
yeah.
really can't get on. Then
But,
you have to wait
but
like
I
5
didn't.
elevators.
Yeah, I didn't. I was in Vegas last month. I'm going soon again, and so that's my pro tip for
Okay,
expert
that's a
traveler.
really good pro tip because I'm going in about 2 weeks to Vegas. We might be at the same conference. I have a little pro tip to add to that. So I'm come from, on one side, firefighter family, Chicago firefighters.
Okay,
And my cousin said, "Do not go above the 12th floor." As
seventh
much
floor.
as Oh, you said 7th. He said
It's the seventh
is it the
because
7th?
the
Maybe he
ladders
said the 7th and I heard the
The
12th.
the ladders can't go higher than the 7th
Yes,
floor.
that's what he said, the ladders can't go higher. So he's
Yeah,
like, yeah, go up to that floor, that's it, because
definitely.
they can't go higher, and your only choice, God forbid something happens, is to go
Yep.
up to the roof, but the ladders can get you. I thought he said 7th.
No, it's
7th
the 7th.
makes more sense.
Yeah,
Okay.
Peter Greenberg taught me this tip years ago, and because he's a firefighter, volunteer firefighter,
Yes.
and I've always memorized that, and so, yeah, I like to get lower floor. You don't wanna be on the ground floor ever, but,
No.
uh,
No.
yeah,
Ground floor is
because
not
it's
fun.
musty, it's dangerous, plus, you know but definitely don't I try not to get hotel rooms above the 7th floor
Okay,
for
you
that reason.
just taught me that. I thought it was the 12th, and I would have just they would have never rescued me,
Yeah,
so
I mean
thank you
I
so
mean,
much.
yeah, Google it or ask ChatGPT, but,
No, I'm
I'm
sure no, I
I'm
trust
pretty
you and
positive.
Peter. I probably just heard it and went somewhere in my brain.
I gotcha.
This is awesome. These are great tips, and I think especially as a family, like, definitely below the 7th floor is really, really important because then you could get rescued, hopefully.
Definitely,
That's the goal.
definitely.
Yeah, but, Johnny, again, where can people find more information about you, your newsletter, and your socials?
JohnnyJet.com, and also on social, I'm pretty much Johnny Jet everywhere. And
Uh, all
don't fall
right.
for the
Well, we
imposters.
This is the true guy. This is the true travel expert. Always love seeing you. Thanks for being on the show, and let's have you again. I feel like we went into so many beautiful stories, which are very touching. But there's so much more that you can share with all of our listeners. So, all right, Johnny.
Well, I
I'm sure I'll
appreciate
see
it.
you on the circuit at some time soon.
All right, I hope so.
All right.
Take
Good to
care.
see you. All right. Thanks for
Bye
being
bye.
here. All right.
Bye bye.
Bye. All right, so that went so well with Johnny. It went down a different road, a road that I love because there was so much feeling, and I thought we're going to be more tip heavy. Anyway, it was just beautiful, beautiful episode, and hope you enjoyed those stories. And we just have to have that guy back on because he is just filled with information. So super excited to have him on. And thank you for listening to Round Trip. For more inspiration, follow us at Round Trip Colleen Kelly on all socials. You can also visit roundtripcolleenkelly.com for more information about travel articles. And if you'd like to get in touch with us, you can actually do that at roundtripcolleenkelly@gmail.com. And finally, if you like what you hear, please follow, subscribe, and leave us a comment. I want to give a heartfelt thanks to everybody who has downloaded. This means so much to me. Again, this whole broadcast is rebuilding after coming from Chicago radio. And we love seeing you. We love talking to you. We can't wait to hear from you. So thank you to all of you that have downloaded. Thank you for the future that have downloaded. And yeah, let's keep it going. Let's keep talking travel and more fun stuff.